Hello, it's me again for argument number two. And I only need the mask for a second. You can half see my face under it anyway, it's not the greatest mask in the world. But I'm going to do this at the start of every single video I do on this series anyway. Right? So, second part, the second argument. Why haven't aliens visited us? Why don't we know about it? Okay, here's a couple of things to think about that you haven't been allowed to think about yet. Okay? Because you're meant to believe in the possibility of the fiction. Okay? You're meant to believe in the possibility of it. Why do you have to? You don't. Okay? But you're meant to. Okay. Now, if life was created on our planet in this way and is limited by those physical rules, by those physical constraints, and we know that we couldn't travel faster than a certain speed in the universe without getting ripped to shreds, why do you think any other living thing would be constrained any less? We are an extension of the universe. We came from the creation of this universe. The universe might be expanding. Well, it is. It is expanding. Okay? But the same rules that are in place here are in place everywhere else too. Alright? And if you look at my Books of Life section on this, you'll understand, at least to some degree, what those rules are. But the point is this. If we can't travel at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour without ripping to shreds because of our physical structures, why do you think anything else would be different? You think other aliens evolved as ghosts with no bodies? No, no. All life in this universe was basically created based on the same rules. So if there is other life in this universe, it is constrained by the same rules we are. It might be different, but it will be constrained by the same rules. So there's your answer as to why you haven't been visited. So all these UFO stories you see? No, nah. Sorry, but just no. Alright? Now, there is a possibility, and I will say this to you now, that some living thing with a longer lifespan than ours, I mean, elephants have longer lifespans than us on this earth now. Certain tortoises. All right? Not many other things, but there are things that have longer lifespans than us. So yes, the possibility does exist that other living things in this universe will have longer lifespans than us, but not that significantly that they can do interstellar travel any easier than we can. The most they will have is a little bit more time to do it. Right? And they will also have the same problems in terms of respiration. How would they provide oxygen or whatever they breathe to themselves in the atmosphere of space for a prolonged period? It couldn't happen. Okay? There is only a limited amount you could do. All right, we could send Voyager out for 45 years. There's no people in that. There's no living things in it. There might have been a dog or a monkey in there to start with. But there isn't there. Right? Because there's no capacity to create a breathable, sustainable atmosphere and food supplies within there to house a human for that prolonged period of time. Why do you think any other living thing wouldn't have the same restriction? There's your answer on that. That's why we haven't been visited. Okay? So all these UFO stories? Nah. Some of them are probably sort of little things done by, I don't know, local military, etc. And are meant to sort of seem more than they are. Or they were just little experiments based on military scientists actually believing all these stories and thinking there might be something to it. How about I shape something like a flying saucer, etc. But the likelihood is you haven't been visited. And the likelihood is we're not going to visit anybody else either. Okay? That is the realist in me saying that. Okay? The simple truth of the matter is this. Okay? You're going to have to accept That while we're not alone in the universe, until we change what we can do to a significant enough level to sustain ourselves for a prolonged period in time. And all this physics stuff you hear is crap. Warp bubbles? Really? Nah, afraid not. Afraid not. Okay? It's not going to happen. But all that, eventually you're going to have to accept that if you're not alone in the universe, you're not going to meet anything else in the universe. And why would you need to? Alright? That's not to say no other living thing in the universe isn't doing the same things as us and finding the same problems as we are in terms of extending our space flight and exploring its neighbouring systems. Right? They probably are. Right? We'll never know about them though, and that's okay. We only need to know about ourselves. We need to know about us. That's all we need to know about. Okay? You have to be what you are. We are here. We are stuck here. We're not going to Mars. We're not going to a neighbouring system. That's not going to happen. Okay? And the people experimenting on that should stop. All right? They should start experimenting on making this more sustainable. That is the most important thing. Us escaping to another planet is not viable. It will never happen. But us having to stay on this is a simple reality. It's a reality. So it's this that we have to make better. Anyway, that's point number two. That's why aliens haven't visited us and why we're not going to visit any other aliens. It's the simple truth of it. So that's argument number two done. All right? I'll see you in a little while for argument number three.